All right, I'm gonna try this again. Yep, looks like it's working. Okay, cool. Just tried to record this and realized OBS crashed on me, so we're gonna try again. Hey, Sprawl Racer here. Thanks for clicking on the video. I know I'm a little bit late to the game here, but we got an iRacing dev update a week ago, and I want to jump into it, go over it, kind of give my opinions and thoughts, and yeah, let's just jump right into it. Starting out, Greg Hill goes over the special events. Daytona 24 had 104 total splits, 6,000 plus teams, 3.5 million laps, 26 terabytes of data, and a total of 40 plus years of total connection time. Not sure how this compares to last year. I could probably look up the splits and registered teams, but I think this is the first time they've shown the laps, data transmitted, and connection time, which are cool stats. They also get into some information here I was surprised they went over. I'm going to highlight it here. So I feel like this is a response to the criticism on driving standards lately. They essentially say they receive upwards of 1,000 protests every single day. And they had 300,000 protests during 2025, which 1,000 a day, 365. So it's not quite 1,000 a day according to that math, but I felt like it was kind of interesting. This is the most behind the scenes they've ever shown us on the protest system. I wish we would get more information, better communication on some of that stuff, but this is something is better than nothing, I guess. And so that's what they decided to share with us. But realistically, what we're here for is season 2, 2026. They have a bunch of stuff here. We're going to jump straight into new tracks. New tracks, we are getting St. Pete. If you're not familiar, St. Pete is a staple on the IndyCar schedule, typically their season opener. I believe IMSA goes there with a single make. I think just the GT3s, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. This year, the NASCAR Craftsman trucks went there. So this is going to be needed for the IndyCar game and the NASCAR game. So no surprise. MX5 Cup went there this time. We got some photos here. The one thing that stood out to me, and it's kind of hard to see, let me see if I can zoom in this photo. Well, actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm looking at the wrong. Okay, yeah, so this is the hairpin. This is going down the main straight. Disregarded what I was saying. But no, St. Pete, I think it's going to be a great track. It fits in on a couple key series like IndyCar and Craftsman trucks. I think it's going to race pretty well when it goes to PCC. You have a big, long straightaway. It does get tight at times, but you do have passing opportunities. In the rain, turn 1 is going to be super sketchy. There's a lot of paint at the end of the runway, and I think that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that works. But you know, this is a great addition. One we all saw coming. They confirmed it last build cycle, but it's finally going to be here. One I believe they went over as well is Barber got an entire rescan, rebuilt from the ground up. They're going to make the old model legacy. With that, we are going to lose the short configs. According to iRacing, only 0.5% of all racing happens on those layouts. So we're just going to get the full layout. It's a bummer to see the short configs go away, but if nobody's using them, I understand. And the legacy version of the track is going to just go away. We're just going to get the new one. If you already have it, it's a free update. If you don't have the track, you're still going to have to buy it. But it's nice to see the track get an update. I think it's one of the earlier road courses they put on the sim, so it's nice to see those updates. Another couple tracks getting updates is going to be Lanier, Langley, and USA. Not sure how this is going to work. USA doesn't even exist. I don't think they're going to build us an Amazon warehouse, so not sure if they're just going to retexture things or if they're going back to old photos. Very curious to see how that works. I am glad older tracks are getting some updates. I just we'll be curious to see how they look. Long Beach and Sebring are getting visual art quality updates. so like no rescan. I will be curious to see if frame rates are better at those tracks. And we're getting 3D curbs at Red Bull Ring, so expect some frame rate loss there, but it should really change how a couple corners drive, because you are going to be actually hitting a curb rather than a picture of a curb. As far as new cars, we're getting the Camaro ZL1 update, and yeah, no, this is the updated Camaro Cup car, the car that doesn't even exist in the real world, but that is an argument for a later date. Obviously, we know iRacing is going to keep up to date with the NASCAR content, especially Cup Series. I wish NASCAR didn't allow this because it's not a production car, but like again, that's an argument for another day. As far as an actual new car is, we are getting the Ram truck. I'm not sure why they didn't put a picture here. It's out there, but I don't want to mess up my reader mode right now. But yeah, the NASCAR Ram truck, Tony Stewart drove it at Daytona. It's the first time in 14 years NASCAR has 4 manufacturers in a series. So Gangnam Style was the hit song of the time. That's how long ago that was. But yeah, no. So, I mean, kind of cool there. I mean, they all handle the same. They all drive the same. It's just a skin. No need to get it unless you like Ram trucks. And, but it is cool to see 4 series in a top NASCAR series again. Now this is one I am much more excited about. TCRs are getting a whole overhaul. We are going to get the Gen 2 of the Audi RS3 TCR car. The Audi was the very first TCR car we got on the sim. I believe it was around 2019. So I bought the car then. Unfortunately, I am going to have to buy the Gen 2 car if I want to keep it. Gen 1 is going legacy and won't be used in the primary series. Here's a photo of the car. It looks good. I do own, I believe, the Civic and both Hondais, so I'll likely sit this one out. I am super excited to try the new TCR. Just want to confirm though, if you bought the car within the last year, you will get some credits. But the biggest thing with TCR is the whole overhaul, and that's going to affect every car. And I'm a big fan of the Clio. I've not really been a big fan of the TCRs for whatever reason. I'm curious to see how I feel about them, because I do love front wheel drive cars, and I wish there was some, what's the word I'm looking for here? Some better options in iRacing. But yeah, no, so it's super cool. I'm excited to try out the new TCR. It says this is a 6-month project, and I'll be curious to see what they focus on next, because we've gotten the GT4, the GT3, the GTPs, now the TCR. Time to do some dirt oval updates, iRacing. Yeah, no, full new tire model, refined handling, real world systems, just rebuilt from the ground up, which I love to see. I just wish we'd get it outside of the sports car category. Another one I'm super excited about, GTE. They are getting an overhaul. If you're not familiar, GTE was the premier sports car before everything went to GT3. GTE has no ABS. They're much more powerful, more downforce. They're more of a race car. It was the pro class, while the dentists and doctors went to race GT3. For cost saving measures, everything's gone GT3, but we still have the GTEs to live on in iRacing. And it's seems like a very fun, very niche but competitive class. They are going to be getting wet tires for one, and just updated setups, just a full overhaul, a lot like the TCR, but maybe not quite as extreme. So that's super, super cool. I hope to see more people racing GTE, and because they are, in my opinion, much, much better race cars, much funner to drive than the GT3. As far as quality of life updates, they are making some adjustments a little easier. I'm not sure if this is just the GTE or if this is going to go across more cars, but essentially they are separating shocks into their own page. They're updating the tooltips, and they are simplifying the ride heights. So now when you change spring rates, the ride height stays the same. You don't have to go manually adjust the spring perch. kind of torn on that one. I feel like if you know what you're doing, it's not a big deal. It's one less step, but I feel like oversimplifying it doesn't really, God, help people learn, but it is what it is. I'm just happy there's still some open series left. Another class getting some big updates is the IMSA Vintage. This is going to be the Audi 90 GTO and the Nissan GTP. They're both getting rain tires. You can see them here in the wet. The Audi gearbox is getting adjusted. I'm a puss. I use auto blip, I believe, on that car because it does make shifting 1,000 times easier. It's not as quick, but I never had an issue shifting. So it'll be neat to see how much easier the Audi is to drive because a lot of people have a hard time with that gearbox. The Nissan is getting a whole overhaul as well with suspension aero and turbo boost. This is going to cut about 6 seconds of pace off that car, which should help the quality of multi-class racing. Last year's Daytona 24, when the GTPs were way too fast, it really made it sketchy. This year, slowing those GTPs down made things a lot better, in my opinion, for the Daytona 24. And I expect that to be what the IMSA Vintage Series feels like. Slowing those fast cars down will make those guys maybe a little less desperate to make lunge moves and just clean up the racing a bit. And if you like Matt Malone, you know he's not a fan of their racing. But final car to get a major update here is going to be the Lotus 49. That is the Lotus from 1976, I believe. So the 49 is just a number. I don't know. I really love the Lotus 49. I've raced it official one time, but it was one of the cleanest, most challenging races I've ever done. The community broadcasted the race. The racing was super clean, super cool. A lot of give and take because the car was so hard to drive. We are going to get wet tires for that Lotus 49, an entire suspension and braking overhaul. So I'm really excited to try that out. I don't know if it's going to, I assume it's going to be slightly easier in some ways. I could be wrong on that, but it will be neat to kind of see what that's like, as I am a fan of that car, but it does take a lot of work to be race ready, so I don't race it too often. But one of the best iRacing experiences I've ever had was racing that car on the Sunday morning Eastern strength field. It was broadcast. I think I started in the back and passed 20 cars. I think had like maybe 1X, but I was dead tired after. But yeah, no, super cool car. I would love to see that series become a little more popular. Same thing with the Audi and Nissan and the IMSA Vintage series. Cup cars, O'Reilly, Dallara are all getting some level of update with aerodynamics based on the CFD drafting model. IndyCar is going to get, what am I looking for here? Some aerodynamics and tire updates, and the oval refresh is still super vague, super questionable on what they're even doing. I wouldn't be surprised if this came out to be just a placebo effect. They're saying they're changing stuff, but they're not, so people will shut up about it. Our recent focus has been fine-tuning the balance of the racing line, how much rubber is laid down during high intense racing, how much is picked up during cautions and light running. Partially rolling out in season 2 in this multi-season project. That just feels super vague. I don't know. I don't have an issue, but I don't do a lot of oval racing. But yeah, like this could be all placebo for all we know, and I wouldn't be surprised. AI, they are do simulated race results, finishes, qualifying, and updated driver behavior. If you know me, I don't worry about the AI stuff. So we're gonna kind of skim past that. The UI is getting some updates. You could actually, this one kind of stands out to me. You could set profiles. Now, one thing in this photo that has me optimistic, but not very, is it has a GT3, has open wheel, has sports car general, and then they mentioned the super late model and silver crown. Maybe we get updated super late model, and even more needed an updated silver crown in the future. Kind of odd they tag those on in there, other than they are just completely random cars. But you can basically have your HUD layout set for different cars. We are getting the live telemetry. You can kind of see what that looks like here. less likely to need something like caps or eye overlay. I'm going to continue to run JRT. I actually don't even see this while I'm driving. It's just all my recordings through JRT. I'm going to keep that going, but it is nice to see more updates to the UI that are going to make third-party things less and less effective or needed, because there is some competitive advantage to have those. And I'm a fan of not needing third-party services to be competitive on iRacing. We're also getting new widgets. This one shows you lap count, remaining time, sim time. We have one here that shows whether you've taken the Joker or not, how many times you need to, green, white, checkered attempts, tire compounds used, just kind of generic boxes that have information. The more information, the better. Some people can keep track of this. Some people probably struggle. And this is just good to have. We're also getting a visual spotter, and I'll show a photo of that later on. But some people definitely need that, especially running on single monitor. One person I know that runs a visual spotter is iRacing. If you ever watch his videos, you can kind of see bars on the side. Very curious to see how what iRacing does compares to that, because what Mako has is you can kind of see as the car gets to you where they're at alongside of you, and then once they're clear of you. And when you're running triples, that's a lot easier to keep track of. If you're stuck on a single monitor, it is a good thing to have to help hopefully clean up racing. So it'll be neat to see what happens with that. And they've made some enhancements to the Ghost car. You could essentially change the opacity of the Ghost car and the gap against the Ghost car in Sim now. Previously, you could do that in the UI. I think I keep my Ghost car anywhere from, I think, like a quarter of a second to a half second ahead of me. That way I can kind of follow its line and see what I'm doing, rather than kind of overlaying on top of you. But that is a good thing to have in the sim and not hidden by the app INI. Some new languages will be added to the launcher. You can update just your favorited cars and tracks if you wanted to kind of speed up the update. That's pretty much the key of it. It looks like the audio updates have been delayed, as well as Dirt AI. Again, I'm not a big AI guy. My only hope for the Dirt AI is that once they have it, they can make other Dirt updates, whether it be to the damage model, the surface model, stuff of that nature. I don't ever plan on racing Dirt AI. But if that's the tool they need to make other developments to make in-sim driving better, I'm all for it. Again, audio was delayed. Same with multi-class start procedure, that was delayed. I don't think they even really mention it here. Career mode is deep into development. Honestly, I'm not sure what career mode is going to look like for iRacing. The beauty of iRacing is you have the license structure. You kind of pick what you want to run. I don't know how that's going to look with a career mode. Does it maybe try to push you down paths of less popular content, like going from F4 to F3 rather than Indian NXT or Super Formula Lights? Like, I don't know the point of a career mode for iRacing. I could be wrong, and it could be the greatest thing they add, but I will hold off judgment until it's here. They are, as far as physics updates, they are working on a next gen tire model. I'm assuming that's for all cars and not just the next gen car. Weird naming there, iRacing. Enhanced force feedback, advanced aero modeling, and higher physics rates, and multi-threading architecture. So there is a lot of stuff they are working on the back end. I'm assuming a lot of this stuff will come after the new graphics engine, but we'll see. I was really excited for updates coming after the Rain project, especially, like I said, Dirt Oval stuff I'm really passionate about, and I feel like they need to do a lot of work there. But it seems like it went from Rain to the graphics engine. So once the graphics engine's done, what's the next big project? I feel like it could be a kind of a combination of these, because none of these feel as big as that graphics engine. 3 specific tire model properties they're looking to adjust: asymmetric pressure, not sure what that means, I can't even read that word, tire bounce, and tire surface temperature sensitivity. I'm curious if tire bounce has anything to do with Dirt. and like sidewall deflection and bouncing, or if it's more about fixing what the Porsche Cup car does, where the front end just kind of starts bouncing. So be curious about that. They have named the graphics engine Spark, and this is kind of the photo they give us of the night engine, so you can kind of see where the light is coming off of each light pole, and kind of where that light lands and where the shadows should be. Pretty cool there. Once I'm sure it's gonna look better. It's just how does it perform? Like, is the advancement of the quality worth any resources lost? If it looks amazing, but I'm getting half as many frames, that's worse. Now, if it looks better and we get better frame rate, win-win. But it is cool to see that moving along. I love when these bigger projects get finished up because it gives me hope something I care about will be worked on next. But yeah, no, so that's kind of where we are there. Miscellaneous updates. The reference app system is being updated. They are working on stuff with Microsoft as far as like the dynamic line, which we'll see a photo of that in the future. Our iRacing Arcade has already been released. I was thinking about actually downloading that and playing it a little bit here in a bit. I just got to figure out how to make this controller work. It's a scuff, but I have to do the stupid Corsair software. But what else do we have here? We are getting the Navy base in San Diego. Been there before, never as a racetrack, but it'd be kind of cool to see that. What else? Converting a ton of visual effects from our legacy system over to full modern FX. Burnouts will look epic. iRacing, you fixed burnouts before. It was smoky. It was epic. And then you nerfed it because people think they're coal trickle. What are we doing here? Just put the smoke back. But yeah, we'll see about that. Ran over. We're as busy as ever. We have a bunch of members, yada yada. 210 dedicated employees. iRacing, hire me. I would love to be an alpha tester. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a photo of the new 3D curbs. This looks like the Red Bull ring. We have some big scary ants. Some solo leveling type villains there. I'm assuming this is going to be Barber. And I think this is still an update of Barber. Let's see it tell you. Yeah, Barber JPEG 3. This looks like a new UI update. I kind of like this. Quick tangent here, want more license. Let's separate Formula Series into American Open Wheel, International Open Wheel, Oval, NASCAR, Short Track, Dirt Oval, Sprint Car, Late Model, and we can leave Dirt Road. Technically you could separate rally cars and trucks, but that's a lot of effort. But this is kind of neat, I guess. This probably has something to do with the career mode. This is the new dynamic racing line, which I'm not sure how this is going to work, but it will be neat to see. I know everybody's critical of people running with the racing line. I'm really big about not using the racing line to even learn a track. Get out there, find your marks, pace yourself, get up to speed. Like, I'm real big on not using that. But some people just need it. Some people want it, and to each their own. A better, more dynamic racing line is better than what we have now. So this is GTE in the rain. I do recommend give GTE a try. It's a great series. Definitely something I probably should run more. And then we got vintage IMSA in the rain. That's Sebring as well, I believe. And we got, should I zoom in too far? Yeah, so I mean, that just looks good. Sebring, that just looks awesome. And I wish we'd get more vintage IMSA cars. Give me the Celica. I want the Celica. More vintage IMSA. We got, what is this here? St. Pete, and I don't know St. Pete's layout super well. This is, I think, where a lot of people crash. You'll come down this straightaway and turn here, and this is just runoff area. I don't know turn numbers though. And more St. Pete pictures. Oh, and this is the one The only attention Dirt Oval gets is a background shot, but you can see here it says left, right, and it lights up on the right. This is going to indicate that there's somebody on your outside, and this is going to be the visual spotter. If you watch Mako Racing, you can kind of see that bar ebb and flow. We don't have that here, or not from what I could tell. I could be wrong. Maybe it's yellow when they're close, red when they're right there. I'm not sure how dynamic that is, but some information is better than no information for some people, so we'll take it. But yeah, no, that's pretty much the build. I'm sorry this is a delay. I wanted to kind of like get footage of the older cars, certain tracks, overlay it. Had a couple funny jokes planned out, but I do stay super busy. Big kind of life thing. I am starting school here in what's today? 10 days. Once school starts, that's obviously going to get my priority. I do want to keep racing and making videos, but they might be a little different. I definitely won't have time or energy to edit whenever I rarely do edit. It's just a big time dump. I might do some more talking head videos. I really have enjoyed what Carl's been doing, sharing his opinions and thoughts. And I might do that every once in a while, because that's just something I got to write up and then talk about if I'm not in the mood for racing. When it comes to kind of anything setup related, I might pick out like 2 or 3 weeks in a season and just build setups for specific cars and tracks combo, but share my process in doing so. I have some ideas, but until my classes start, I don't know how much time I'll have available. But it's life, and I'm looking forward to it. I will be disappointed if I don't get to race it anymore or as much, but I already don't race as much as I'd like anyway, so it is what it is. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the build. Subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day.